Growth is not something you find. It's something you participate in. And most of you are waiting for growth to happen to you as if it's something external that arrives at the right time instead of something internal that requires your involvement. Meanwhile, your life is already moving, not paused, not waiting, not stuck, moving, just not always in the direction you want. Because here's the reality most people avoid. Your life is growing every single day through your patterns, your choices, your repetitions. The question is not if you're growing. The question is, what is your life going into based on how you're currently living? Every living thing seeks growth, not occasionally, not conditionally. A tree doesn't sit still and say, I grow when conditions are perfect. It adjusts, it leans, it stretches, it adapts toward light, toward water, toward what sustains it. Even in poor conditions, it still grows. Maybe slower, maybe uneven, but still directionally. Growth is not passive. Growth is directional, responsive, adaptive, participatory. Now, here's where this shifts. You are not separate from that system. You are part of it. But unlike a tree, you are aware of your movement. And awareness introduces something the tree doesn't have, choice, which means you are not just growing. You are choosing the direction of that growth, consciously or unconsciously. Let's get precise, because this is where people stay confused for years. You can develop without growing, but you cannot grow without development. Time passes, experiences accumulate, exposure increases. You go through events, you adapt to circumstances, you age, you experience, you accumulate memory. That's development. You cannot stop it. Pattern interruption, behavioral reconstruction, emotional regulation, expansion, cognitive reorganization, schema level shifts, capacity building. Growth requires awareness, decision, repetition, tolerance of discomfort. Growth requires participation. Here's the part most people miss. You can go through the same experience 10 different times, and if you don't engage it differently, you develop history, but not growth. That's why people say, I've been through this before. Yes, you have, but you didn't grow through it. You repeated through it. Most people chase growth externally. New environments, new relationships, new roles, new opportunities, hoping those changes will change them. But external shifts without internal restructuring create temporary relief, not transformation. You can move cities, change partners, start over, get new opportunities, and still recreate the same emotional outcomes because your internal system is still operating the same way. You didn't leave the pattern. You brought the pattern with you. Psychology has a name for this: schema-driven behavior. Your internal scheme is your core beliefs about yourself, others, safety, worth, connection shape how you interpret situations, assign meaning, respond emotionally, behave. So when your environment changes, your interpretation often doesn't. And if interpretation stays the same, behavior stays the same. And if behavior stays the same, outcomes repeat. That's why people say, why does this keep happening to me? Because this isn't random. This is patterned. Perception, patterned. Behavior, patterned. Outcome. You don't grow by changing your environment. You grow by changing how you engage with it. More specifically, you grow when your internal responses no longer match your old patterns. Let's make this direct. Some of you are waiting for the right relationship, the right opportunity, the right timing to finally become who you say you want to be. But here's the part that disrupts that. You don't become that version of yourself when the opportunity arrives. You become that version based on how you show up before it does. That's the law. Because when the opportunity comes, you don't rise to the level of your intention. You default to the level of your practice patterns. Self-love is not a feeling. It is a pattern of protection. If you don't protect your time, protect your energy, protect your boundaries, you will repeatedly abandon yourself to maintain connection. Real. Recognition is not awareness. Recognition is seeing something clearly enough that you can no longer distort it to stay comfortable. Intentional living requires interrupting automatic behavior, increasing pause capacity, choosing responses instead of reacting. This is executive functioning plus behavior regulation in action. Think it, speak it, do it. Misalignment creates internal stability. Alignment builds self-trust, behavioral consistency, identity reinforcement. Devotion is sustained behavior in the absence of emotional support. Consistency when you don't feel like it. You are triggered. It's uncomfortable. You are not one unified state. You are multiple internal systems, emotional, cognitive, behavioral. Growth requires cooperation, not suppression. Trajectories. If your life is not event-driven, it is pattern-driven. Micro behaviors repeated over time create macro direction. Identity construction. Identity is built through experience, interpretation, belief, behavior, repetition, reinforcement. You don't become who you want to be. You become who you repeatedly act as. Let me bring you back, because this is where people disengage. Growth is not about motivation, inspiration, feeling ready. Those are emotional states. Growth is about capacity. You already understand a lot. That's not the issue. The issue is, can you apply what you understand when your system is activated? You are triggered, you're overwhelmed, you feel pulled back. That's where growth happens, not in calm moments. You don't have a knowledge problem. You have a capacity problem. Growth is a sequence: awareness, recognition, decision, repeated action, identity shift, trajectory change. And if you remove repetition, you remove growth. The tree doesn't grow because it wants to. It grows because it responds consistently to what supports it. The question is, what are you responding to repeatedly? Familiar discomfort, emotional patterns, fear-based decisions, or clarity, alignment, intentional behavior? Your life is not waiting to grow. It already is, through your habits, your responses, your patterns. The only question is, are you directing that growth, or are you letting your patterns decide it for you? If this helped you understand your patterns more clearly, subscribe. Because this is what we do here. We don't just talk about psychology. We make it usable. Understanding your psychology matters. It helps you understand the patterns shaping your life. Understand clearly. Integrate deeply. Grow yourself great.